Please, I have shout-outs, just so you know.
Okay.
I'll follow those up.
Warm in here.
Yep.
20 seconds.
You can come in, Corey.
I bet you thought you won.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. I'm really competitive.
10.
No fidgeting.
Yeah.
5, 4, pray.
Oh, jeez, that's...
Our place, where we can dream and share it. Our place, you'll find a friend to care.
Woo! We are that friend who cares. We are Our Place Out Loud. I am your lovely and captivating host, Louise Palanker, here with a panel of teenagers and some people that were once teenagers and, kind of remember the era very fondly. With a lot of love. We've got Jake, Maddie, we've got Ryan, we've got Kimute, Sio, and Olivia. I am your host, Louise Palanker. In the room also is Devin. Devin's here. He was once a teenager. He is... is there a camera on Devin at all?
There's a camera on Matt.
Oh, okay.
Close. I'm actually a ghost.
Let's reposition. You're going to need a microphone if you do talk in this room. The whole room is not mic'd.
I was saying that I was a ghost.
We're not laved. And Devin's friend Corey is in the bathroom, so we've got a camera in there. Go to that, please. Okay. So we're hoping for a phone call from Diane Dimond. And let's just hope she calls, because she wrote an article for the HuffPo or for one of her famous fancy magazine publications. Did Diane call? Yes. Oh, okay. So Diane Dimond. I'm calling from the East Coast. She's a very famous reporter lady. Hey, Dee Dee.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Did I call in time?
Yeah, you're calling perfectly. How's the famous reporting going for you?
It's going pretty well. I was watching the State of the Union until a minute ago.
Oh, how is the State of the Union?
It's strong,
Good.
according to the President of the United States.
All right. Well, he would know.
He would know, I guess,
Or
yeah.
at least he'd have an opinion.
But then again, they all say that.
They do. They say that. So now, we had a reading assignment, and we read your most recent column about randomly drug testing teens at a specific Catholic school, and they just go in and they cut their hair, and then they come back and say, hey Johnny, come down to the office. We found that you've been hiding your stash of marijuana in your hair, and
or something like that.
Or something like that, yeah. So I was thinking, because I said to Maddie, I said, how do you feel about this? And she's one of the kids on the panel, and she became horrified because she just pictured somebody coming at her with scissors and cutting her hair. And I would want to have it strategically planned around the time that my bangs need a trim anyway, so that I'd be like, oh, cool. I haven't smoked any pot, and could you please trim my bangs?
Yeah, I think actually, Louise, that they're after more than just the trim of your bangs.
Okay.
Because the more hair they can get off your head, the more your secrets are told.
Well,
See, your hair is like tree rings, like rings in a tree. It holds all the secrets. Everything that you ingest, from vitamins and minerals and too much booze or cocaine or marijuana, it's all stored in your hair, and it leaves like a ring of evidence.
What about
so
my
they don't want little
crushes?
tiny bang trimmings. They want like 6-inch long. That would be the best to see what you've been doing for the last 6 months.
How do they get that much hair off a kid? Like a boy, let's say it's a boy with kind of short hair. Like how do they get that much hair off a kid?
They probably just buzz him.
Well, they just take it from the scalp. They don't trim it; they pluck it.
They pluck your
and
hair.
And the school that you're talking about, Rockhurst High, it's in Kansas City. They are going to do, because they're a private school, they can do this. Public schools are not allowed to do this. That's search and seizure and against the Constitution. But their parents agree that on a random basis, the administration can come and take. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
60 hairs out of your head.
60 hairs out of one person's head?
Yeah, because they want them from all parts of your scalp, and they want them to compare to each other and to keep on file so that the next time they test you, they can compare what was going on to what now is going on.
So now, Diane, when you write about these things, I notice that you don't really have an opinion. You just kind of write as a reporter. But do you have an opinion about this one?
Well, I do, and toward the end of this particular column, which can be found, by the way, on DianeDimond.net or .com, I do say that I remember when my daughter, we lived in Washington, D.C., she went to a little Catholic school, private school, and if the sisters had come to me and said, hey, you know what? We got a new policy. We're going to take 60 hairs off your kid's head, and I would have been aghast. I would have run screaming and yelling and probably pulled her out of school. But maybe it's because I'm older, maybe because I think I'm wiser. I don't know what it is. But you know what? So many kids get into so much trouble with drugs because nobody noticed anything. And so rather than leave a problem fester into a full-blown addiction, isn't it better to know ahead of time that your kid is experimenting and maybe having trouble with something?
So,
now, I think maybe some of the kids on your panel are not going to agree with me, right?
Well, the hands are going up, so let me go to CEO. This is Siamata.
I see what you're saying about the kids needing to be stopped or but I don't think always necessarily experimenting is a bad thing. I think that I think that it's like, okay, I'm not saying do it, obviously.
Are you
drunk? No. I don't drink.
I think you have a point there. Keep going.
Thank you. See? Good. I like you, Diane.
Everyone likes DD.
Or DD.
Yeah.
So, because that way you can learn from it. You know,
Bingo.
I think that, and I feel like a lot of parents or a lot of people, I have no idea how old you are, but.
She's really young and pretty.
But I'm
thank
saying,
you
like.
so much. No, I'm not. I'm way older than you are, Theo. But let me tell you, I think you're on the right track because, look, if they test your hair and there's like a scant little amount of like, oh, yeah, I tried marijuana one time,
right.
I don't think there's going to be much repercussion in that.
Well, I guess.
But if they test your hair and you've been doing it every single day, and they can tell if you've been doing it every single day,
right.
by the way, now you got a problem. I always told my daughter when she was growing up, life is about knowing that whatever you do, there's a consequence, and learning what you don't want.
So I guess
when you smoke marijuana and you get real sick and you start coughing and you go, cocaine, you get a hangover, whatever it is, you've learned that's not for me.
Maddie?
I mean, I think that it's good that, they're testing kids, who could potentially have problems, but, my concern is what about those who don't? Like I go to a private school, so if they decided to start doing that at my school, I mean, obviously I think that, and they do have parent consent, right?
Right.
So, I mean, I guess, I don't know, I just feel like for those kids who, obviously don't have a problem, with anything like that, it's, is it really fair to kind of take their hair off?
Right.
Because I rather like my hair a little bit.
I know. I think I'd feel a little bit indignant since I never did drugs or drank in high school. I think I'd feel like this was kind of a chore and also a little
invasive.
Invasive is a really good word, but I was looking.
That is a good word.
Looking for the word like humiliating, like almost. Like a clinical kind of.
Yeah. And also, if they're doing this like every month, like imagine how much hair is like gone.
I think they strategically didn't. You say, Diane, that a barber comes in to make sure that you don't have bald patches?
And I don't think you're left with like a big gaping hole in the side of your head or anything. I think they take it from down under your neck, and they take it.
It would
60 hairs. You've got like I don't know what 1 million hairs on your head. So 60, it's like nothing.
Right.
But the word invasive is a very good word. It is invasive. But in this instance that I gave in my column, it's only with the parent's permission, and the child knows too. I think, don't forget, kids, when you're thinking about this, the kid in the high school knows, oh boy, if I take a toke of that, it's going to show up in my hair. They're going to find out. I'm not going to do it. So it's also a real sort of soft-handed disciplinary, maybe hard-handed disciplinary tool.
What if the kid has a weave?
At the parents, on in their arsenal, so to speak.
Olivia.
I just think that this, because, I'm not going to do that right now because they're checking my hair. You're going to go to college, they know they're not going to be checking your hair anymore. Oh, I can try that now, and then you're not going to be coming home to your parents, and, they can't do anything. What if something really bad does happen to you? Like alcohol poisoning because you go way too hard the first time. And, like coming home to your parents, they can take you to the hospital. you know, they can make sure you're sleeping on your stomach.
They can have a conversation with you about
exactly,
what happened.
but like, I mean, in college, everybody else is going to be drunk there too, you know. The other thing is, I understand, you know, my freshman year we had like dogs come to the school and sniff lockers because there was an issue with pot being smoked during school. And I understood that because it was happening on school and it was disrupting the whole day because my entire school is only 300 kids. So I understood that, but if they started coming to like all of us and started taking our hair because of a few kids who got into trouble, I would have been really upset. Because I mean, it's none of their business what I do outside of school.
Well, if it affects your studies the next day in school, then they should be concerned about that. And, you know, there was a president's wife, her name was Hillary Clinton, who wrote a book that said, "It takes a village." And your parents can't always know everything you're doing, or they can't always be there to help you. And so as much as I remember when I was in school, the last thing I wanted to do was ask my principal for help or my counselor or my teacher. But they are part of the community. They're part of the village that takes care of kids. And so I see this as a sort of partnership between the school and the parents.
I agree with that, Diane. We're talking to Diane Diamond, award-winning reporter and journalist. But wouldn't it be better, rather than just randomly snipping the hair of kids and testing it, for people to have eyeballs on these kids and go, like, you know what, Chad is acting weird. Come on in here, Chad. Let's have a conversation. How are things going with you? Isn't that better than just so clinically just clipping your hair and go ahead, Kyo.
Okay, first I have two questions. One, what do they do if you just shave your head, like keep it bald? Is that not allowed or what?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I brought that up in my column because I showed a picture of Britney Spears doing that, remember?
Yeah.
Yep.
In her custody dispute with her ex-husband, they were going to drug test her to see if she was a fit mother, and she just went into a salon and shaved her head.
Yeah.
I did another radio interview about this recently, and I said, well, you know, when you make a rule, then you got to make other rules when people figure out how to get around it. So they'd have to make a rule, you know, you can't shave your head. But so far they haven't done that yet. What's your second question?
Is their goal to, like, reprimand these kids for doing drugs or find help for the ones who are, like, in need of help?
Oh, that's such a good question. Let me tell you real quickly, and I didn't get this, I couldn't squeeze it in to the column, but the reason this school did this was they gave a survey to the children. These are high school kids, so they're not little babies. They're almost adults. And they said, what do you think about drugs, and do you do drugs, and do you think your peers do drugs, and blah, blah, blah. And they all said, oh, no, we don't do drugs, but everybody else does drugs.
Wow.
So, yes, I'm tempted. And it turned out that they came to the conclusion that it was a peer pressure thing. And so the reason they wanted to take some random clipping, and they don't round up everybody and shear them like sheep, for goodness sake. They just pull a few every month, and they take a few hairs, and that's it. It's not, nobody knows, there's not a big gaping hole in your scalp or hairline or something, because they want to know what's going on, and if there's a problem, the dean of the school is not even alerted. The guidance counselor is, who calls in one or both of the parents, and they sit down with the kid and they have a quiet conversation.
And you also said
we
it does
plucked
not
her
go
hair.
on the record.
This is what we found. We're concerned. And they do that 3 times. You get 3 strikes, and then you're expelled from the school.
Okay. Olivia?
I guess this is one way to go about it. I don't agree. I think, what just happened at my school last week, because it was a senior class meeting, because most of us have already been accepted to schools. And they had someone come in one day and talked about, drugs and the consequences, and drinking, well, specifically binge drinking and the consequences. And it's just like, we're not going to say don't do it, because we have to be realistic. We're just saying be smart about what you're doing. And if this happens, here's how to handle it. Or, don't do it at all. That's always an option. But, if if this happens, here you go. And then the next day they had one about safe sex, because that does happen in college.
Okay, can I ask you, Olivia, was that you're a senior, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this was a senior class event. Did they ever do this when you were a freshman or a junior or in junior high?
Yeah, they did things in junior high, freshman year, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, they had someone who was terribly injured in a drunk driving accident come and speak to us my freshman year. And, you know, that made a big impression because they couldn't walk or speak properly or anything like that. So, I mean, you know, that hit home. And, you know, they weren't someone who was just injured in it. They were the ones driving drunk.
Now, were you, that even gets it closer to home. Now, may I ask, do you go to a public school or private school?
I go to a charter, so we go by LAUSD, but we can do our own thing, kind of.
You know, Louise, you said something interesting. Wouldn't it be better to just keep eyeballs on the kids and say, oh, gosh, Johnny's acting strange? Right. Yeah, it would be. But in a private school, that's much more likely to happen. This school that I featured in my column was a Jesuit Catholic high school. So I'm sure the population is much smaller than a public school, and most kids are in public school, where the class sizes are enormous, and there's not enough teachers and there's not enough administrators. And so I guess I could see why public schools might want to avail themselves of such tests, but they would have to do it by saying to the parents, this is not mandatory, because that would be illegal. It's only, you know, if you want to partake, and the tests are $50 a piece.
Okay,
none of it's cheap.
Sio's going to make one point, and then we're going to let you go, Diane.
All righty.
Okay. Well, I don't really agree with using this method, just because it's a little bit like it's like Big Brother-y almost. It's like dealing with something. I mean, kids are doing drugs because of something, or they're feeling something.
And they're taking a part of your body.
Exactly, and it's like too scientific to deal with something that I think is emotional. So
it's a symptom, and it's not the core issue.
But I see the I guess pluses of this. I don't think I would choose it for my school, even if it was a public school.
It's interesting, kids. If you get a minute after the show, go on my website and just look at some of the parent reaction to the column that I wrote. Some of them are like, yeah, go ahead, cut my kid's hair. That'd be great. And others are like, don't you touch a hair on my kid's head.
Do you want to stay
it's not just you all that have your opinions. Everybody's got a really firm opinion about this topic.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to stay on the phone for a moment, Diane, or do you have to go? Because I'm going to go to a question that came into the app this week, because it is Valentine's Day coming up, and so we've got some kids. Oh. Yes, we've got some lonely kids. And
that's sad. Well, you know, Louise, I do think I need to run, but thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Diane, and we'll have you send us another column that pertains to teens, and we'll have you back on.
Thank you,
got
Diane
it.
Thanks
Diamond.
A lot, kids.
Thank you,
Bye.
Diane Diamond, for joining us.
Bye.
So in the studio we have Devin and we have Corey, who arrived late, so I didn't have. They're going to borrow Matt's mic to say hello. Say hello.
Hello.
And they are from Orange County.
Yeah, which I was going to say about the whole drug thing is like, you know, especially because we're from Huntington Beach, and like pot is like been on the streets with every other person,
don't look
since
at me.
the 70s.
Don't look at me. You've seen me before. Talk to the microphone.
But you're just so beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know, so it's. I mean, I never did drugs or anything like that, but a lot of my friends got really deep into some of that stuff, like dealing and stuff and there was really no repercussions, because if they weren't they were doing it, their parents were doing it, and it was just really readily available.
How is Huntington such a wealthy community when everyone is stoned?
I have no idea.
They're creative.
History.
The oil rigs are really lax out there.
Ryan?
If I can just make one point before we move on. I'd just like to say that, in Manhattan Beach, which is where a lot of my friends live, the curfew is, I believe it's 10 o'clock, and they really enforce it strictly because there's been so much pot and stuff like that among kids. And it's like, me and my friends we don't do that. And so for us not to be able to, go out and get a snack, at I don't know, wherever we want, like Baskin Robbins at 10:01, the cops are going to say, where are you going? And
you're
they
paying the
bring us
price
home.
for all the stoned kids when you just want to go do something calm and innocent.
So I can understand where the hair would play the same role.
Olivia.
I'm just really proud because one time I cried my way out of a curfew ticket, and it was a really good moment.
I got a curfew ticket once.
Doesn't it suck?
Yeah, it was terrible.
You should learn how to fake cry.
I should
Well,
just be a
before-
girl.
Yeah.
Before we go to the phone call, I do want to dive into a couple of questions here pertaining to Valentine's Day, and then we'll so caller, hopefully you're listening, you can hold on. Jessica writes, I feel lonely, ... People tease me that I'm a loner and that I will never have a BF for Valentine's Day. Help. First of all, why do people feel like they have to be in a relationship on Valentine's Day? And second of all, why would you tease someone who's not in a relationship when people are in and out of relationships throughout their entire lives? You're either with someone or you're not. It's one or the other. That's why they have websites for meeting people. It's not that unusual to be single. Why would you tease someone about something that's entirely situational? Go ahead, Olivia, and then Ryan.
Well, I was just going to point that out, too. Like, they're probably also single, and then someone just was like, do you want to be my Valentine? And it's like, no, I'm not alone. But, I mean, you really don't need to be with anybody. I mean, my dad sends me flowers every year, and that's all I need.
Exactly. It's about love. It doesn't have to be romantic love, Ryan.
Exactly.
I talked to Jake before the show about this one, so this might sound a little harsh, but in middle school, Jake was one of those people that like you wouldn't really expect to be in a relationship, and you could put money on it that like in freshman year he would not have anything to do with girls, and he had a girlfriend in his freshman year, you know, and it's like as harsh as that sounds, that like
you never know where it's coming from.
Exactly. But he, you know, and then like there were plenty of guys who in middle school you would have been like, oh yeah, he's gonna have it like made in high school, like we're just like on their own, and it's like. It just depends on the person and the people you know, and it has nothing to do with what other people say you're going to be.
No, because you want to be in the right relationship. You don't want to be in some random relationship. That is worse than being single. And so it does not, being able to click off on Facebook in a relationship does not replace being with the right person. And if you're in a relationship, you're not available to find that right person if you're in the wrong relationship. Olivia.
I remember one of the first shows I did here, one of the questions was, I have nothing to talk to my boyfriend about. Help.
Why are you in a relationship
exactly.
with this person?
So it's like, why would you want to be in that when you could have an awesome conversation with your mom?
With your mom or your Devin?
Yeah, that's me.
Go ahead.
Well, yeah, to this person, you know, I never had a boyfriend growing up either, so they shouldn't feel too...
Oh, Devin's a comedian, by the way.
That was a joke.
You know, and, you know, to all the gay kids out there, I apologize.
Sorry. Bieber stole my haircut.
I'm just brunette. I'm talking to a guy, not going out, but we both know it will happen soon. And he didn't ask me to be his Valentine or anything, but my best guy friend did, and I said yes. Is that okay? We aren't more than best friends, and we never will be more. So what is the deal with asking someone to be your Valentine as opposed to actually dating? Maddie.
Well, I just want to ask everyone in the room, what is the difference between asking someone to be your Valentine and asking them out? Is it the same thing? No? Okay, somebody please explain this to me.
Yes, please.
Okay, so actually, that's a good question. Well, one of them's like,
is this for the
awesome?
It's like, is this for the day or after
CO.
Valentine's Day?
Who could have predicted this?
No one.
Stump CO. Okay. Yeah. Is it for the day? Exactly.
It's like, is it for the day or on Friday? Are we still gonna? Is this? Yeah. So there's that, and
Isn't
I
it
don't know.
awkward the next day? Like, okay, remember yesterday when we were each other's Valentine's Day? Well, now it's the 15th.
I mean, I have like 18 Valentines right now.
You
so
do?
I mean, like I have all my friends from Emerson who I'm gonna send something to on Thursday, and then. You know, there are a couple people at school who I'll write them a little something.
Do you guys want to hear sad?
Yeah.
I will tell you sad.
Yeah. What?
And Jakey knows this is a fact.
Whoa.
Ever since I started dating my husband, I was disinvited to the Valentine party that happens at my sister's house. You don't get to come if you're in a relationship. We don't want your kind here.
Can I go?
Huh?
I want to go.
Yeah.
I want to go.
Because they all give each other pink things and... You know, no, you have a boyfriend. You don't need to be here.
I want to go.
CO.
I feel like Valentine's Day is for people to complain about how they're not in a relationship.
That's what I feel it's for.
And, like, eat a lot of chocolate. Oh, okay. And this is what happens to every single Valentine's Day. It gets me so upset.
Oh, God.
No one gets me Nutella. Ever.
What?
Ever. And you know what? Exactly.
Yeah.
And I say, all I want for Valentine's Day is this little thing of Nutella. You know, it costs like... And then, okay. okay. Not too small. Like Costco size is good. but you can get me like a normal kind, and I'll be really, really happy. But no one ever does. They don't feed my addiction.
I think that they should, because you always do nice things for people. Always. All right, we have a
I couldn't
caller.
tell if that
I'm
was a
Louise
joke.
Palenka. We are Our Place Out Loud. Who is on the phone with us?
Animagus is on the line.
Hello, Animagus.
Hi, Weezy.
How are you? What did you want to talk about tonight?
Well, I had an update for you.
Let's hear
as
it.
usual.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So, I told you already about Gavin and Zach or whatever, and how I was kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
we are familiar.
So, I was walking home with my friend today, and I was talking about that with her. And I was saying how I wasn't sure whether leaning more towards Gavin rather than Zach would be a good thing, because I know that if that liking two people means you're not exactly mature enough to handle a proper relationship, and I didn't like the fact that that was kind of where things were going, so I was like, okay, I'm not going to think about anything until I make a proper decision. So basically, I was talking to her about that, and she said, like, why are you chasing after some kid who keeps on hurting you? It's like just not working. This is stupid. And so, and I told my mom that too, and she said basically the same thing. My friend said, why don't you just give it a chance with a guy that, you know, you haven't dated yet. He doesn't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen, so you might as well give it a shot. And I was thinking, yeah, I mean, it seems kind of almost delicious if you think about it. That Gavin's all of a sudden started talking to me after 4 months. It's kind of like, oh, look at what you're missing. And it's kind of getting ridiculous because it's getting to be a game, really. I can see that now because he'll pay attention to me for 1 week, and then he'll go and he'll pay attention to my friend Emma.
Right,
then
because
he'll
he just
go and
wants
he'll pay attention to my friend.
Because he just wants what he can't have. So as soon as you've moved on and you have a crush on someone else, he's coming after you. And those are the people to be avoided in life. So it's sort of see these patterns at your age, recognize them, and then say to yourself, "This is not the person I'm going to be. That's going to be in this endless, ridiculous loop of despair." Did you want to say something, Sio?
Yeah, I just want to say, can't you be attracted to can't you be attracted to the way people, I mean, look at least?
Yeah, but you know, and
not.
she used the word maturity. I wouldn't use the word maturity. I would just say you're just single and you're liking people and you're talking to people and you're having friends, and you know, yeah, you should be like crystal clear sure when you enter into a relationship, because it's a big responsibility.
Yeah.
That person's going to expect to talk to you every day and expect you to remember their name and, you know, things like that. So there's nothing wrong with just liking a couple of guys. You want to say something, Devin?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Devin usually wants to say something.
Well, you know, that's that's happened for 12 years now.
Yeah.
But no, it's basically kind of what you were saying. It's like, I don't really necessarily think there's anything wrong with dating a couple of people as long as there's no, like, physical, like, kissing or anything like that. Like, going on coffee dates or, like, lunch dates just to get a feel for who...
What if you're 14,
maybe,
like the caller?
Oh, if you're 14, like the caller, yeah, then definitely no kissing whatsoever, I would say. Yeah, I don't know. 14 was such a weird
When
stage.
Devin was 14, it was like him and his friend, what was that kid's name? Adrian. They would talk about, like, always, like, at the mall, like, in the photo booth was where it was all going on.
That was where it went down.
And I go, okay, you guys, so the photo booth is where it's all going on. And they're like, duh, Wheezy. Yeah. So,
No,
like,
well,
does
it
anyone
was
use the photo booth to take photos? No.
It was that and, like, movies and stuff like that. Because if you can get a girl to a movie, that's always a good time.
That's a good time, yeah. Ryan.
And I just lost it.
Okay.
All
right, well, we're going to let you go, Animagus. Thank you for the update, and thank you for being wise and coming to these interesting conclusions on your own and with the help of your friend and your mom. Your mom sounds awesome. We are at 888-531-7171. Another Valentine's question comes in from Blog Girl. Hello, I know Valentine's Day is coming, but now I suddenly am in love with my ex, and I want him back. Weird, right? I know, but I don't know. All of a sudden, I miss him. I am in such a confused situation now. I do not have any new boyfriend, nor does he have a new girlfriend. We act like we don't even know each other, but now I see him and I miss him and I love him and Anyway, so is this just a case of like her wanting him back because Valentine's Day is coming, Ryan?
I would say partially yes, and partially because, like, after you have a relationship with someone, like you still always are going to remember like the reason you went out with them at
In
some
the first
point.
place, yeah.
Which I mean, so you know that somewhere deep down there is like a positive to that, and it's hard to really get past that. Like especially like I wouldn't say I'm in a similar situation, but just like after I broke up with my girlfriend, part of me was like, oh, I miss that, and part of me was like, man, I love being single.
Mhm.
Now I don't have to. Now I can play basketball and not have to worry about talking to someone. So it's just about like how you look at it, and it's I think just because you miss them is not like
I would say wait till Valentine's Day is over and see if you still feel the same way.
Yeah.
Do not get back together with someone just because you don't want to be single on Valentine's Day. Q.
I may be wrong, but I don't know if you really can suddenly fall in love with someone. I think you can feel attraction towards them immediately, but like to fall in love, you kind of, I mean, you can remember and reminisce, and like that's what it seems like she's doing, but that's all. I mean, it seems like it's just because it's getting to be Valentine's Day, and
She's missing the feeling,
Yeah.
not the actual person.
right.
Is that what
She's
you were going to say,
missing-
Maddie?
she's-
You're like,
she's-
oh, she took my point. I hate how smart Wheezy is. Olivia.
I mean, whenever I think, you're thinking about all the good times that you have, remember why it ended.
Yeah.
That's always really important.
Yes,
because
remember the
there was
puddle of
that one
tears.
time where he got you flowers and it was so sweet, but then there was that other time where he got with your best friend. So, there you go.
Yep, there was that time.
well, and then there was the time when your best friend got with your boyfriend.
Yeah,
there was
and then
that.
there was that other time
Not
where
a
you
good
didn't
day.
know what to do with yourself at lunch.
We are Our Place Out Loud. I'm Louise Palanker here with a room full of wonderful teenagers. Give us a call at 888-531-7171. We have something that came in from Gabba Gabba. A high school classmate of mine sits in front of me, and he always reaches back, pretending to stretch, trying to touch me. Then he pushes his chair back, so my chair would be pushed all the way back, and he draws or doodles on my papers. What's his deal? Maddie.
Just he may vaguely have an interest in you. Maybe just a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Ryan?
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know exactly what he's trying to like touch about you, but
I would just like to say, boy courting techniques are fail.
they really
fail
are.
worthy.
but let me just say that the doodling is definitely like, I don't know, a lot of times when you draw on someone's paper, it's like a way of saying, look, I was here.
I was here.
I was in your space. Like, look at me.
Physically right, I was here.
Yeah. Well,
Why is Matt playing my
so
beautiful song?
that.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, exactly. It's just like I would do that too. I write I was here or Ryan was here, and it's just like this
I
is
have marked
this
this
is
territory.
my time. Look at me. I am existent.
Once
Pay
he writes
attention.
on you, he's really claiming you.
Oh yeah.
Olivia.
Okay, I'm this person. I touch. I know, but like I write and other people, I get
Spread
so
out.
bored. Sometimes I don't like them. Sometimes I actually really don't like them even at all. But I just kind of want to. Ha.
Well, then
And
she
that's
has
it.
a right to just say, "Don't touch me."
Yeah.
And go ahead, Q.
I mean, if it's a recurring thing, it might mean something more than just being bored.
Right. I agree with you. I mean, Olivia.
I'm a mess. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But I mean, if you were doing it to the same boy every day,
I
think
do. It's just I don't
Oh.
like him. I just
You're a girl. I think
yeah,
that a boy
that's
would.
that's something a boy does when he
when
likes
he
a
likes
girl.
someone. Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, no, I think that he likes you. Okay, so, all right, this next one is kind of long, but I'm going to read the whole thing because I think it's important. Hey, Weezy, my friends call me way too much. Like, I have this one friend, and she's my best friend, so after school she calls me, and if I don't answer, she keeps calling me constantly, and if I'm really busy and I don't feel like picking up, and I don't answer, but then I get a text from her, and it says, pick up your phone. And if I call her back, she yells in complaint, saying, oh, my God, I called you like 10 times. It's so annoying, and on the weekends she calls and wakes me up early, and I'm trying to sleep. One Friday, I did not call her, and she sent me a text saying, oh, okay, so you really don't want to talk to me. And when I called her, she was mad at me, and she was really mad. On the school days when we talk, my curfew is 9 o'clock, and when I have to get off, she always wants to message me on Facebook. I don't even get my homework done, and I don't go to sleep until 12 a.m. I was grounded and loved it without a phone. Even my family did. So now I have my phone back, and I don't want to be bothered. I was thinking, too, to tell my parents to disconnect my phone so I can have a life. My friend is very sensitive, and if I tell her to stop calling me, she won't answer my calls or call me at all. What should I do, Weezy? So this is a kid who really is having problems setting her own limits. It's like she needs her parents to set limits because she doesn't have the language to set limits on friendships. And this is something that we all need to cultivate at any age, is the language to set limits on friendships. Ryan?
Well, I agree with that, but I think a lot of the issue is that especially if you know you have a sensitive friend and it's your best friend and you really don't want to do anything that could potentially hurt them or their feelings, like, you always want to like stay away from those things. I'm not saying it's the best thing to stay away from them, but you at least feel like you need to stay away from them. And so I think the best thing here is, even if they're sensitive, you need to be honest with them and upfront with them. You can say it really nicely instead of harshly, but you need to tell them. And what we say a lot is just make it like an I statement.
Right.
Say like, I don't have the patience to talk on the phone for a long time. That's just who I am. It has nothing to do with you, or or I'm really busy. I need to get my homework done.
I need to get my homework done. I'm spending time with my family. My parents
Right.
are in the room. They want eye contact. They want conversation. I just can't not be on the phone with you this as much as you like. We have different styles. You seem to want to be on the phone more. I like face-to-face. Just tell her what your style is.
And ask her.
And own it.
Ask her if she can just shoot you a text saying, can you talk now? And then
Yeah.
you can just reply yes or no.
It's not your job to be constantly available to this person. You get to have a life that doesn't mean you love her any less, but you get to have a life that sometimes doesn't include her in every moment. Maddie?
So I had a similar experience like this. My friend.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to call you that often. I'm sorry.
What?
Never mind. It's a joke. It's
that
a joke.
took me a minute to get.
It was hilarious if you got it, but if you didn't, go. You're making a good point. You're making an excellent point. I have no business talking. Go.
Okay, so I had a friend, actually she's still my friend, that she would send me like a text, and then actually it shows like when the text was sent, and then 5 minutes later she'll be like, you hate me, you aren't answering me, why do you absolutely and completely hate me? And I was like, I do not hate you.
Why do you hate yourself?
I am busy.
Because
I am
that's
doing
not-
things that take longer
This
than 5
doesn't
minutes.
equal that. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, and she was calling me too, and that kind of woke me up on the weekends, just like pretty much what was going on here.
Mm-hmm.
And so, well, first of all, there's like a mode on your phone, and you can turn it off, and you won't receive any calls, like in the mornings or while you're doing your homework. It's like, I think it's airplane mode or do not disturb mode.
Or turn your
something.
phone off.
Or turn your phone off. And then the other way I dealt with it is that she really was getting very kind of like emotional when I tried to tell her, maybe you could, stop calling me as much, and she still wouldn't get the idea. She was very upset. So basically, I kind of just blamed it on my parents. And I said, they are going to take away my phone.
Perfect.
They are going to, ground me. They're going to keep me away from my friends if they say that I do not get off my phone. And so I love you, and I really actually do want to call you, even if I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I'd say, but I can't keep talking to you, otherwise I'm going to get in so much trouble.
Yeah,
but
your
let's
parents
talk
are
later.
the perfect excuse
Yeah,
to
and most
help
of your
you.
parents will just let you do that.
Because eventually, after 18, you're going to have to figure out your own language for this to set limitations and boundaries on things. Sio?
I do that thing with using my mom all the time, and I tell her too. I'm like, "Can I use you for this?"
I do
She's
that
like,
too.
"Sure," yeah.
I ask her.
But I have this friend who it's not like she texts me all the time or anything, but like she's one of my best friends, if not my best friend in the whole universe.
Mm-hmm.
And she's sort of like, she's sensitive, and so I do something to offend her, and she gets really offended. But then the next day we're okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I do too. Like when we get mad at each other, it's like almost World War III, but not really, because obviously there'd be more wars by now if it was.
Right.
But like, if you're really good friends with them, then you'll get back together.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, it's just
You
like a
feel
difference in styles. It's not like I'm saying I don't like you. It's just saying that I'm here now.
Yeah.
I will be interacting with the people who are here with me.
Right.
Olivia?
Something happened to me recently where I was in a very similar situation to this, but it got to the point where like I wasn't allowed to hang out with my friends, or this person would be mad at me, or if I didn't call them during my lunch hour, they would be almost suicidal, and it was just a whole lot of bad. And I would just, the minute I got out of school, they would call me because they knew my schedule. And I would have to turn my phone off. And I'd say every single day, I got my phone taken away. And then my house would be called. And it was just a whole lot of bad.
How did your parents handle it when the house was called? Because to me,
she's not here.
Okay.
Or she's in the shower.
Or what about, because once someone starts calling a house line, can a parent say, please don't call this line?
Yeah, that happened too. But it was just, I mean, eventually that person just, I couldn't do it anymore, so I got them out of my life completely. But that's not what you want to do. But like, I did have the conversation of like, all right, here's what I need to succeed. And if you are taking up all of my time, I can't do that.
I love it. Very good. Excellent. Keo.
Okay, for one, I can't really relate to this because if my friend texted me and was like, "Oh, you don't want to talk to me?" I'd just be like, "No, not right now."
Boys are different. Yeah.
And
No. That's great.
But just use whatever excuse you need to right now. If you can't tell your friend straightforward, I need space. I need to
do my homework.
I mean, your friend is honestly just being kind of inconsiderate of you and your time and space. But eventually you're going to need to be able to tell a person like that, like, I need my own space. I need to do things. I have other responsibilities besides just you. But, I mean, right now there's no reason why you can't use your parents or something.
Exactly. All right, Olivia, one more point, and then we're going to jump to the next question.
Well, also, maybe ask her why she needs this. Because it sounds like, I mean, if she can't possibly be doing all of her work if she's on the phone with you this much.
Or she doesn't have parents that interact with her.
Exactly.
Or like a home
So
life
it's
that's as stimulating. And so she, have you ever had those moments where you're like really caught up with everything in your life and you're just like, who should I call? And you're just, because you're just ready to you've been working solitary and you're ready to have a conversation and interact with a person. It's like your sim needs social, but you're your own sim, right? So,
but I mean, like, your sim doesn't need that much social.
I know, but some sims, it depends on how you design your sim.
I understand
some need
that.
more social.
But I mean, no, there's not a single sim that needs this much.
No, I mean that's a ton, Ryan.
I actually I can't really relate to the concept of like having to call someone because I really don't like talking over the phone. Something I've explained to my mom, like when she calls just to make small talk, like when I'm at my dad's house or something, which I totally understand and I miss her too.
She misses you, yeah.
Right, which I totally understand, is that like a phone call is basically like the reason you have a ringtone is so you can hear it over anything else you're doing, and it's basically just like interrupting. And so if she texts me saying like, call me when you can, I'd love to call her and have, small talk and just be like, how was your day, But a lot of times you'll get a phone call and it's interrupting, you might be having a conversation with someone or even just thinking, and it's just an interruption. And it doesn't always, it's not intentional to interrupt, but it's basically overriding everything that's happening because it just makes a loud noise until you answer.
Yeah, and when I grew up, phones were only in homes and businesses, so you'd be out doing anything, anywhere, and you were never interrupted by phones or other people talking on phones. And
right.
And so you weren't expected to be available at that time. But now you are expected to be available at any time, which means that we now have to set our own boundaries and say, I don't talk on the phone during these time periods. I interact with the people who are there with me because that's more quality than me jumping out of the conversation and ducking around a corner and finding a quiet enough spot to have a conversation with you and missing the people who came to this thing with me. It's not fair to them. It's not fair to yourself. And so it's perfectly okay to say, I just can't talk now. I will talk to you when I can, but right now I'm in the middle of this, and it's not a convenient time to talk. Maddie.
I mean, like, when you're on the phone with somebody, this just goes for, like, everybody, like, in the world and everybody who's listening. It's like, when you're on the phone with someone, make sure that, or when you're calling someone, don't call them over and over and over again until they pick up. Because their phone could be off. There could be a million reasons why they're not answering. So if I'm trying to reach, if I'm trying to reach your friend,
called. You don't say, then text, I called you 10 times. Why did you call 10 times?
Yeah.
How was one call not sufficient to allow the person to know that you had called?
Yeah, like if I can't reach a friend, I'll call them once and leave a message, and I'll say, hey, I called, call me back when you can. And then if after like 4 hours I still haven't received any response, I'll just send them a text, hey, what's up?
But
and then that's it.
You know what's funny is like everyone has like even different styles of leaving messages. To jump topic really quickly, like in my relationship with my husband, like I'm the guy and he's the girl because I just call him and just say, hey, call me when you can, and I'll come home and I still have like a good old fashioned answering machine by the side of my bed. I'll come home and I'll turn it on. If I was over at my mom's or something, I'll turn it on, and he'll tell me absolutely everything that happened in his day over the message. And I'm standing there waiting to call him back until I've listened politely to the entire message when he could have just, said, hey, call me. And
I was just like, as soon as person, hey, it's, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's them. And I just click the call back button. Like, I don't,
And if
It
I'm
was
calling
like a 3-minute message, and I'm like, no.
And if I'm calling a modern person like Devin, I don't even leave a message because I know that he will look at his phone and see that Wheezy called and call me back.
If it's important.
Olivia.
I sometimes do the, the call thing because it's really important and like they really need to answer their phone right this second. Last time I did this,
Is someone on fire?
Yeah. I was standing outside of my friend's house because I went there to surprise her, and she wasn't answering the door.
Mm-hmm.
And I was right there, and it was freezing.
She was hiding.
So
You were stalking.
it was really important.
All right, we have 15 more minutes, so I'm going to jump to this question. Please give us a call at 888-531-7171. Scout loves Oreos. Does any girl actually like or not hate their period? Devin.
Well, when I first got it at the ripe age of 7.
So everyone in the app,
Ooh.
in the app that answered this question were like, "Are you kidding? Hate it." So, does anyone have any? Because like so many kids are like so anxious to get their period, and they have no idea how much they're going to hate it when it finally gets here. Olivia,
It's not the best thing in the world, but there are things that are so much worse.
yeah, there are things that are a lot worse, but
yeah.
something doesn't earn the nickname "the curse" for nothing.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. I almost like went on birth control like 10 minutes after I got it. So, like, it's not an issue for me. Like, it's 3 days. It leaves.
So it's
and
shorter
I'm
if you're
gone.
on birth control.
Well, it depends what you're on. It
I
depends
kind of like
on your
the-
body.
I like the
10
idea
days?
of getting your
Oh.
period. Like I like the concept of like being a woman and the cycles of life and that
Better
you're-
late than pregnant, like that, or
No, just it makes you feel female. Like this is part of nature. Like just the natural rhythms of nature.
I guess
Of your body shedding something and getting ready for the next month. And I mean, that's how I try to look at it so that, it doesn't just become like a burden. Go ahead, Sio.
I think periods are really disgusting.
Well, they are.
And I think it's funny that she chose like Valentine's Day, like the heart for bleeding. I'm sorry.
That I did?
Well, you put it in the Valentine's Day thing, and okay.
Oh, I don't know. It's
But-
just a coincidence.
But yeah, I don't like it. I mean, I take an ibuprofen every however many hours. Just I don't really
Oh,
know.
yeah.
And I drink black tea.
They're really good. Caffeine is
tea's
good
good.
for your period, and so is
And I also
Advil,
dance
yeah.
around, and I
Yeah,
also yell
that's
at
good.
my parents.
That's really good. That's
Yeah.
really good. I mean, I used to get bad cramps too. I was like a crampy person.
It's only for the first day, though. For the first day,
Yeah.
I can
Day
barely
3 is
walk.
bad.
But
Day 3 is bad.
oh,
Well, I don't get my
don't-
period anymore, but day 3 was bad for me. Ryan?
I just want to comment that like there's some things that I haven't experienced that are just like I can kind of understand. This is something that I cannot at all like. I
No.
can't even wrap my mind
No,
around
I mean
it.
it's
Like
really weird,
it's
and
so-
we think so too.
I mean,
We're
but like
full-
Yep.
the idea of like this time when I'm gonna drink black tea and take ibuprofen and dance around. It's like
Well, you're shedding the lining of
You're
your
shedding the
uterus.
lining
I
of
know,
your
but it's
uterus.
like I just can't even like.
There's no polite way to go to.
Nicholas Sparks books are involved, and I just want no part of it.
you could. Oh, never mind. That's inappropriate.
Ooh, Sio just edited herself. There's a first for everything. All right. Okay. So it's pretty much agreed that no one really likes that, but it's part of what you have to do to be a girl. All right. Lover Girl writes, "How do I let my boyfriend know I want to kiss him?"
Do it.
You lean in.
Yeah.
All right. Who watched The Bachelor last night? Anybody? It was pretty exciting. Like,
I
finally got
watched
rid
The
of
Bachelor last night.
It's
No, I
like
didn't.
there should be like, is there like an over under on when they're going to get rid of the bad girl?
Probably.
Every season of The Bachelor, like
I
what
think
on
you might
what
be the only
episode will because Ben wound up choosing her. Any
You're
ba-
speaking Spanish to me.
Any
Right
Yeah,
Bachelor?
all
Yeah.
of us are like, okay.
Well, there's always a girl that everyone knows is evil, right? So she's nice to the Bachelor, but she's evil inside the house.
Okay.
And so at the end of the season with Ben, I forget how many years.
Well, they got to keep her on for ratings.
Exactly.
Show
So I'm wondering.
exciting.
I want to know, Howard, if you know anyone that works on The Bachelor, and do they say to The Bachelor, "Hey, listen, just keep. I know you're not in love with her, but just keep her because she's really good and dramatic and interesting." I think so, Howard. I think for the sake of show business.
That's why
So-
Bad Girls Club is so phenomenal.
It's so great.
The editors are hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know what
love
that is.
them. They're the editors. They're funny.
So the question is, how do you let your boyfriend know that you want? So there was this girl that Ben was, or not Ben, it's Sean, I guess this time. They all should be just Ben. I think that every bachelor should just be Ben. There's no point in changing their names. Ryan.
Can we not use The Bachelor as our example of what people should model their activities after?
Yeah. Probably not. I mean, it's probably wisdom that you're coming up with there. Oh, there's someone on the phone. Did you watch The Bachelor? Who watched The Bachelor and wants to talk Bachelor? I just feel like if you can name that many Food Network shows, that I should be able to talk about The Bachelor in passing. Yes, hello.
Super Pandas is on the line.
Did you watch The Bachelor? Pandas? No. Pandas, talk to me.
Huh?
Are you awake? Are you awake? Am I scaring you?
Am.
Is there a parent walking by your room?
No.
All right, why? You have to talk louder like a person who's awake in the daytime. Come on.
Okay, sorry.
I'm going to jumpstart you. Let's start over again. Hey, pandas.
Hi.
Hi. So are you whispering because everyone in your house is asleep, or are you just trying to torture me, or what?
Okay, sorry. Fine. I'll
Okay,
talk.
after I stop talking, you talk. Turn down your computer.
Okay.
Talk to me. Just you and me. Come on, let's do this. All right. So is everyone else in your house
Okay.
asleep?
No.
Okay, so why are you talking so quietly?
I'm not.
You are, and you wait like 3
Me.
seconds after I talk before you talk. Jake is Jake is like
Wait, switch the camera here.
you have to turn down your computer. This is a conversation on the phone.
Oh,
Hello.
Pandas.
we should have a class on phone etiquette.
Now she's mad at me. She's not even talking to me at all.
Pandas,
Talk
we
to
love
Olivia.
you.
Hey. You still there?
I'm a nice person.
Yeah.
Okay, so should we ask a question?
Okay, did you want to say something? Because I think we're going to let you say something and then jump off the phone because there seems to be a delay on our phone conversation.
Oh, I just want to say hi to everyone.
I love you. You're
Yeah.
so cute.
Hi.
Hi. All right, go back to listening to the show. We love you. You're adorbs. You're adorbs. All right. How do you let a boyfriend know that you want to kiss him? Devin, you've kissed some girls, allegedly.
Couple, not many.
Do you want to let Corey talk? Does Corey talk?
Sure,
Or
Corey,
is he
go
just
for it,
your
man.
pen or your teller, whatever? Yeah.
Well,
I can't keep.
how she wants to go for it. Well, she should just do it.
Lean in?
honestly. Just
Lean in.
Go for the kiss, obviously.
So if a girl leans in, even if you just kind of like her as a friend, do you still let her kiss you?
Well, absolutely. I mean, guys are guys. At least me. I mean, maybe if anyone wants to kiss me, let's do it. You know, I'm not gonna say no.
Corey.
I don't think he's gonna turn his head, in my opinion.
I love that
I think he'll at least
attitude.
take it once.
I mean, you guys are going out. It's
Lean
a
on
boyfriend,
in.
right?
Yeah, lean on in. It's your exactly, Keo. It's a boyfriend. I think the panel has a case of the giggles. So give us a. It's okay to get it out of your system. This happened to me when I was interviewing Chris Farley.
I don't catch the giggles.
He started pulling on his hair and he started going, "That was the stupidest answer ever." And I was sitting like right next to him. And I swear to God, I thought, I swear to God, it was very hard not to just fall over and just say, I give up. I can't. Memories of dead guys that cracked you up. So Autumn writes, either talk to him about it, kiss him back, ask to kiss him. My boyfriend talked to me about it beforehand, LOL, and every time he goes to kiss me, he asks, which people would say sucks, but it's actually pretty cute, so good luck. Who thinks that's cute if a boy asks you every time?
Wait.
She's saying that her boyfriend always asks, can I kiss you? Or
I mean, it's cute. Eventually,
they're probably like 13 or 14 or 15. Yeah.
It's kind of cute at the beginning, and then eventually it's like it should be smooth and like just like bye, kiss, and that's it.
Yeah, I think it's cute under the age of 15, and then you should just kiss. Yeah. No?
It's like cute when you're like 13, and then it's like, why?
Maybe even like 12.
Yeah, if your
Maddie,
boyfriend's
like-
if your boyfriend's
like-
doing that when he's 22 years old, that's
Well, one time I gave this
Madam,
guy.
I request your permission.
One time I gave this guy a ride home. I gave this guy a ride to his car. We weren't dating or anything, and he just stuck his tongue in my mouth.
yeah, that's a little gross sometimes.
So don't you think he should have asked? Like
Well,
that's
if you
too
aren't going out-
forward.
Well, I think he shouldn't have just
like,
shoved
if you're
his
gonna,
face.
If you're
in,
gonna
like-
lean in for a kiss and it's unannounced, no tongue.
Well, I think if
No
I
tongue.
think if he's leaning in for the tongue, then he probably wanted to go further that night.
Sure, he
anyway.
wanted to see what I would do, and I said something like, because I never want to hurt anyone's feelings, so I said, "You're sweet," and then thanks.
You're sweet. Now get out of my car.
You may go. I mean, I'm like the too nice girl. Like, oh, easy. You should have just said, "Ew, gross." Was that like your tongue? I don't even. Okay.
Felt like an
Maddie.
oyster.
Well,
Maddie.
Well, I just, I'm 14.
Right.
I'll be 15 this year. So, like, if I was dating someone and every time they asked me if, they could kiss me, that'd be kind of really awkward.
But when
So
you
it's
say
like,
like in a cute
well-
way, like, "Oh, you don't have to ask."
Well, yeah, obviously say it nicely,
Mhm.
but like, it'd be really awkward like every time. And also, I mean, obviously if you're younger than, probably 13 and you're like, even if you're dating, asking is probably a good idea, but like I feel like if you're older and you're not dating, like probably all the way up to your high school, if you're not dating someone and you don't, you haven't really known them that long or something like that, it's probably better to ask like, because
To avoid the awkward.
yeah, because if you're not
clanging
sure
of the
kind
teeth,
of
yeah.
thing, yeah.
Ryan.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, what you were saying is right. But if you say like all cutely, even if you say it like cutely, oh, you don't have to ask. They should stop asking eventually. Like
I think
if you
so,
keep
too.
saying that and then they don't stop asking.
But maybe he
then-
has a mother that said, "Always ask a girl." Like you don't know
Well, his
where
mom's
they're
wrong.
coming. What?
Yes.
I mean, what is he gonna do if she says no?
Oh, make other plans.
Like, it's kind of a rhetorical question after a while.
After a while, yeah.
And it's like you're
Uh,
forcing me to say yes right now.
Devin.
Well, 'cause this is still the question about she's wondering if.
Yeah, I was just giving some other people's answers.
Yeah. I mean, my first. It depends if it's first kiss too. Always. I mean, mine was kind of traumatic. I was just walking with this girl after school, and she had this crazy look in her eye, pushed me up against a tree, and she just went straight for it. And
Wow.
I mean, I liked her. She didn't have to be that aggressive. I was gonna kiss her anyway, but. Yeah, so it all depends about that too. Maybe it could be his first kiss, and maybe he doesn't quite feel comfortable doing it.
Seal?
Okay. Well, I think it gets annoying after like two times. I think I could tolerate it for like twice. Like, can I kiss you? Can I kiss you? Obviously, you can. You kissed me once. I mean, I didn't say disgusting. Get out of here. So
Right.
stop asking. And I hate it. Okay.
Yeah.
That it's like, oh my god. Oh wow, this is such a nice moment, and like the music, if there were background music, it would be like all romantic and stuff. It's like, can I kiss you? Can you kiss me? That's what we've been setting up for the past 5 minutes. Like,
I mean, it's not like you're gonna run out. Like,
exactly. Like, oh no,
you get 10,
I
and
do
that's
not
all.
want that.
In defense of the kid, let me just say there is like kind of like this kind of movement that before you do anything with a girl, you should ask permission, because that. It starts with a kiss, but at 16 or 17, it may be something. And so some boys really are taught, don't do anything to a girl without her being okay, because we're not going on trial for rape. You're getting into some good colleges. So there have been some boys that have been told, always ask. But then if you're dating, you can say to him, okay, you can stop asking. It doesn't make him a weird kid if he doesn't stop on his own. Ryan.
I think it's a lot like for him to learn about how to read, I guess, just not like actually
Right.
read, but like how to read scenarios. So read scenarios, because even if you're taught to ask, I think it's one of those things where if you start doing something and you start doing it really slowly and they don't do anything more and they're just like, they're not participating, then to stop. And if they do, then you can keep going. And it's one of those things where you just have to, you're not just going to jump right in and just like do whatever you're going to do, but just, you got to take it slowly and see how they react to it. And it's like an ongoing decision-making process.
Yeah, it's called, reading the room, or in this case, the girl or the boy or whoever, just kind of figuring out. I mean, I think reading is the correct term. It's just like, be sensitive to other people. Don't just think, I want this. Also think, I'm wondering what she wants. I'm wondering what he wants. I'm watching body, movement, posture, language, all of the above. If someone is making a lot of eye contact with you and touching your arm, that person isn't going to resist if you go in for a kiss, boy or girl. Q.
I mean, just because they say yes is like I'm talking about rape and things like that.
Right.
Just because they say yes doesn't mean they actually want it. I mean, they could say.
So you're talking about beyond kissing?
Yeah.
So someone could say yes to sexual behavior and they still don't want it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like I got a lot of letters this week about people, from people asking me, my boyfriend wants sex, I'm not ready, what should I do? It's almost like they need my permission to say what they're thinking that they would like to say, but they don't feel like... what would you say to girls that are really afraid of losing a relationship if they say no to, going to the next level physically? Ryan?
You just have to tell them that it's not worth doing something that you're not comfortable with at that level for a relationship. You have to say no. You have to.
Maddie?
And if it is worth it, he's not going to make you do it.
Exactly.
Pride and Prejudice.
Wow.
That was a good movie.
Wisdom. Yes. Olivia?
Maddie said it.
Maddie's she's only 14. Can you believe
I know.
This kid here? She's 14 years old. You should have heard her bat mitzvah speech.
My bat mitzvah speech was great, too.
I know. Yours was off the chain.
It was.
People are still quoting it.
I know.
Dr. Drew?
Yeah.
Nightly. In fact, he complimented your speech at your brother's bar mitzvah.
I know he did.
Ryan?
Oh, I was just going to point at the clock.
Oh, it's 8 o'clock. Okay, time for everyone to go home and get something to eat. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you, Devin and Corey, for driving up from Orange County. We are Our Place Out Loud, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
It's coming back.